Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Channie, and today we're watching The Internet is Worse Than Ever. Now What? By the one and only Kurzgesagt. In a nutshell, let's just jump to it. Also, I'm watching this live on twitch.tv/chanzonia, so do join us next time if you have the time. Would love to see you there.
In 2022, nearly half of Americans expected a civil war in the next few years. 1 in 5 now believes political violence is justified. And it's not just the US, but around the world. People increasingly see themselves as part of opposing teams. There are many different reasons for this, but one gets blamed a lot: social media. Social media divides us, makes us more extreme and less empathetic. It riles us up or sucks us into doom scrolling, making us stressed and depressed. It feels like we need to touch grass and escape to the real world. New research shows that we might have largely misinterpreted why this is the case. It turns out that the social media internet may uniquely undermine the way our brains work, but not in the way you think. The
Brain
myth
rot.
of the filter bubble. You've probably heard
Nowadays
about
it's
online
crazy.
filter bubbles. Algorithms give you exactly what you want or what they think you want. You only see information that shows you opinions that agree with yours, while dissenting opinions or information are filtered out. Since you only see content close to your worldview, more extreme and toxic opinions suddenly seem less extreme. You're trapped in a radicalizing filter bubble, and your view of the world becomes narrower and more extreme. But is that true? Extreme filter bubbles seem to be rather rare. Studies that investigated what people actually look at online or are shown by search engines found little evidence that you're ideologically isolated. It's the exact opposite. Online, you are constantly confronted with opinions and worldviews that are not your own. It turns out that the place where you are the most ideologically isolated is your real life, in the real world, with real people. Your real-world interactions with your friends, family, colleagues and neighbors are much less diverse than your online bubble.
You
The
kind of
filter
select
bubble
them.
exists in your real life, not online. Okay, wait. Online filter bubbles have been the prevailing explanation as to why we've all started hating each other more over the last 2 decades. If that's not the case, shouldn't the internet open our minds and make us more empathetic with each other? Unfortunately,
I feel like the internet has made us like insensitive to many things, especially like violence and death. Like it's so like you can just be randomly scrolling Twitter and you just see a video of someone dying, and it's just like, I hate how normalized it is to post people dying and videos of people dying. Like it's so messed up. Why are we just normalizing that? And then like I feel like it literally ruins a part of our brain, and we just become more and more insensitive to it, to a point where we just like scroll past it like it's another video. It's so messed up.
your brain is stupid. Your brain is stupid. Human
Wow,
brains
thank
didn't
you.
evolve to understand the
Thanks.
true nature of reality, but to navigate and maintain social structures. Our ancestors desperately needed each other to survive, so our brains had to make sure we cooperated. That's why social isolation or exclusion feels so horrible, because it was actually life-threatening. A tribe that worked together survived. A divided tribe died. The way communities worked for thousands of years is that, sure, you may have disliked a neighbor, but because you lived close to each other, you also rooted for the same sports club or saw them at church. You both thought that the people from the other village were idiots. Being physically close made you familiar and created similarities that bridge the gap of different worldviews, so you didn't murder each other. And your worldview was probably not that different in the first place, because it was formed by the same local culture. When our brains evolved, this was enough. Whoever was around was similar to us. We liked what was similar to us. This kept us aligned enough to work together despite our differences. As humanity moved on from small tribes to towns and cities, from chiefdoms to kingdoms to nations, our brains and our communities had to adapt to more diverse sets of neighbors. We began to meet on the town square or in universities, where we argued and screamed at each other. But in the grand scheme of things, communities were still relatively isolated, we were still pretty similar and aligned with the people around us. Conflict and disagreement are not a bad thing per se. Tension over how we should live can create new and wonderful things. Our values, norms, and taboos are always evolving, and whatever we think is normal today will not be normal in the future. But we also need social glue to hold our societies together.
I was like, why
our
are they
don't care about the meta
washing
level of
machine?
humanity,
So it's
but about
Halloween,
being
I
safe
guess.
in a tribe. Until about 20 years ago, we did something truly new that hit our brains like a freight train. The social
Internet.
media internet, the digital town square.
Digital
Don't you
Times Square.
dare
I like
disagree
that.
with me. Social sorting.
Oh
In
my
the
god, I remember that one specific tweet that said Twitter or like social media is the only place where like you can say you like something and someone in the comments will like drag you for it or comment about, oh, so that means you don't like this. That's literally not what you said. You can say you like waffles and then like you hate pancakes. You're like, no, I didn't. I just like waffles. I don't hate pancakes. My statement is just about waffles. Why are we bringing in pancakes into this? It's insane.
Our brains are not able to process the amount of disagreement we encounter on the social internet. The very mechanisms that made
Like
it
people
possible
disagree
for
over
our
the
ancestors
silliest
to
thing
work together
online.
in the first place are derailed in ways we were not prepared for. Whether you want it to or not, your brain sorts people by worldviews and opinions into teams. This is not simply tribalism, it goes further. Researchers have
Further,
called this process
elaborate.
social sorting. On the digital town square, you encounter people
Where's broccoli? Where are the broccoli haters? Team up with me, please. Where are you? Please, let's meet in this specific corner at 5 p.m. sharp. All the broccoli haters, join me. We will join hands.
that express opinions or share information that clash with your worldview. But unlike your neighbor, they don't root for your local sports club. You're missing the local social glue your brain needs to align with them. For your brain, the disagreement between yourself and them becomes a central part of their identity. And this makes it less likely that you will seriously consider their position or opinion in the future. If you hear bad things about them, your brain is much more likely to believe it uncritically. On the flip side, there are people who share your worldview and are maybe even more similar to you than many people in your real life, which makes your brain like them a lot and kind of hyper-align with them. People who think like you are
Hyper-align,
probably
I like
good
that.
people because you're a good person and whatever social group you belong to is good. So your brain is more likely to believe their opinions. If you hear bad things about them, your brain is much more likely to dismiss it
defend them.
uncritically.
Yeah.
The engagement-driven
resistance,
social
yeah.
internet makes it worse because it wants to keep you online as long as possible. And the most engaging emotion is, unfortunately, anger. The more angry you get, the more likely you are to share and engage, and this leads to social media amplifying the most extreme and controversial opinions. It optimizes not only to show us disagreement, but the worst disagreement possible. And because your stupid brain is sorting people into teams, whatever the worst opinions are, it assigns the same opinions to everybody on the other team. What's striking and new about online polarization is that all the aspects of our lives that make us individuals, our lifestyle choices, the comedians or shows we watch, our religion, sense of fashion and so on, are condensed, making it seem that they're parts of opposing and mutually exclusive identities. This simplifies and distorts disagreements.
This is also another thing, like the exclusivity of it. There's people who just don't accept that you can like multiple things that are slightly different at once. Like you can enjoy burgers, but you could also want to be healthy. You can eat healthy, but still sometimes also indulge in eating burgers. Like why do you only have to be one? Like why do we just box people in an exclusive category or whatever? It's so weird.
About how we should run society so much that it often seems as if the people on the other team are actively, willfully making the world worse. That they're almost evil beyond convincing with rationality,
Purple,
facts,
please.
or civil discussion. While
It's
you
a
are, of course,
burger.
on the correct
It's
team,
just a
it may be
burger.
hard to process that you may seem like that to people on the other team. On a societal level, this is dissolving the social glue that's the foundation of our democracies. If we think our neighbors are evil, how can we live together? This is especially bad in the US, where the two-party system makes it extra easy to think of people in terms of teams. Negative opinion about the other party has reached record highs. Okay, is there something we can learn from this? Is there something we can do?
Stop
Something
it.
more positive. Opinion part. In the end, it's important to be aware of what social media does to your brain. It's easier to change yourself than to change the world, so you can self-examine why you believe the things you believe and whether
Sometimes,
you dismiss
right?
or believe information based
Oh, I
on
thought
who
they
the
would change
person
it to
is
sometimes,
who is
right?
stating that information. The internet comes with a lot of ups and downs, and just like we had to adapt from living in small tribes to living in cities, we need to adapt to the information age where we have access to billions of people. evolution is too slow, so we need to find models that work with what our brains are able to tolerate. One model that seemed to work well was the pre-social media internet old people might remember. Bulletin boards,
Bird board.
forums, blogs. The main difference to today was twofold. For one, there were no algorithms fighting to keep you online at any cost. At some point, you were done with the internet for the day, as mind-blowing as this may sound. But more importantly, the old internet was very fractured, split into thousands of different communities, like small villages gathering around shared beliefs and interests. These villages were separated from each other by digital rivers or mountains. These communities worked because they mirrored real life much more than social media. Each village had its own culture and set of rules. Maybe one community was into rough humor and soft moderation, another had strict rules and banned easily. If you didn't play by the village rules, you'd be banned. Or you could just go and move to another village that suited you better.
Like now you can't even block people easily because they like even the block button doesn't work the same anymore. Like times really have changed.
So instead of all of us gathering in one place, overwhelming our brains at a town square that in the end just leads us to going insane, one solution to achieve less social sorting may be extremely simple. Go back to smaller online communities. Because what our stupid brains don't realize is that we are actually all on the same team. Humanity, on a wet rock speeding through space in a universe that doesn't think about us. We are all in this together. But until our brains adjust to being able to deal with that, we might be better off being a tiny bit separated.
And now also social media follows you anywhere because it's on your phone.
One of the worst things about the media we consume is that most news organizations tend to cater to one team.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this video. What now? I don't know if they really answered the what now, if I'm being honest. But the points they brought up were very interesting and very accurate, at least in my opinion. But yeah, do let me know down in the comments. How do you feel about social media in today's age? Today's day and age, there we go. And do you wish to go back to the early times of the internet? Or do you think we can like fix what we're doing wrong currently? Do let me know down in the comments. It would be interesting to read your opinions. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube!